A recent NBC News poll by both a Democratic and Republican pollster, a record 58% of respondents said that America's best days are behind it and that, quote, threats to democracy is now the top issue facing the country, overtaking the cost of living. Do you think people with opposing political beliefs are too far apart to work together anymore? And is that worrisome to you? We're starting with you, Councilor Prescott.
It's not worrisome to me that the future is bright. I know it's bright. What worrisome to me is negative campaigning, not having an open communication, even amongst our own people in our own party. That is a problem. Ever since I lost to Maggie Hassan in 2004 from running negative campaigns, I decided to myself, Russell, don't be a hypocrite. Practice what you've taught your children to do, to be kind to others. And because of that, when I won again in 2010 against Maggie Hassan, it was a positive campaign. And that was the best 10 years after that of my entire time in the state Senate and the Executive Council to bring real, meaningful growth to New Hampshire's economy, to concentrate on the issues, tell people what I'm going to do, fill out every questionnaire, make sure they know where I stand. And I received the Republican vote and the Democrat vote, and the independent vote. That's what's needed to win in November.
That's time, Councilor. Ms. Levitt.
Well, the division is being caused and wreaked by this commander-in-chief, Joe Biden. His speech last week was arguably the most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly. We need a congresswoman who is going to fight for our conservative American values, love of God, love of country, love of freedom.
Ms. Huff-Brown.
Well, I would like to say that I am an independent conservative. I'm not beholden to anyone in Washington, D.C., and I'm very, very hopeful. I want to go to Washington, D.C., and I want to fight against Biden and his administration, lower inflation, close the border, stop the spending, pass a parental bill of rights. Those are just some of the things that I want to do. But I remain very, very hopeful about this country. Listen, the reason I wanted to get into this race is because of my grandchildren. I look at them and I say, what kind of America are they going to grow up in? Are they going to be able to hang a flag? Are they going to be able to say God in public? What kind of America will they have? Will they have the opportunities that my husband and I have had? That worries me. So I'm very, very serious about going to Washington and being an independent conservative, somebody that's not beholden to anyone. I'm not beholden to leadership, Kevin McCarthy, like Matt Mowers or Elise Stefanik. I am not beholden to anyone. I'm an independent conservative.
Mr. Mowers.
Well, I can't blame folks for having lack of trust in D.C. because we've seen both Republicans and Democrats get hauled away for corruption. We've seen Republicans and Democrats do nothing to address the problems time and time again. What we need to do is actually finally get serious about restoring the trust in Washington, D.C. That's why I've been so vocal about calling for a ban on stock trading by members of Congress and their families. No more making $5 million off of a stock transaction the way that Nancy and Paul Pelosi have, when at the same time they're not regulating the industry that they got rich off of. That's also why I'm a big supporter of term limits. The other thing we have to do is just stop this division that's being forced down our children's throats in school, this woke indoctrination curriculum, telling people that they have to be divided by the haves and the have-nots, telling them that they have to be divided by race or by gender. You know, when my one-year-old goes to school, I want him to be taught nothing more than the immortal words of Martin Luther King, which is judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And that's what we need to build our society back on, and that's what's going to unite us as Americans again.
Representative Baxter.
Well, people are so negative right now, the voters, because of how corrupt our political process is. Mowers, his buddy, swamp rat Kevin McCarthy, is spending $2 million to try to get him over the finish line. And Caroline Leavitt, she's endorsed Kevin McCarthy for Speaker too. She then lied about it, got caught, tried to cover it up, and now won't answer the question who she's going to vote for Speaker for her very first vote. And why this matters is when the first controversial vote happens, the freshman reps, they're going to be rounded up by the leadership. They're going to whip them and tell them this is how you have to vote. If you vote the wrong way, you get thrown off a committee. If you vote the wrong way, we won't fund your re-election campaign. This is what's wrong. That's why I've pledged to be against Kevin McCarthy for Speaker, because we don't need another corrupt swamp rat like Paul Ryan stabbing the America First agenda in the back. We don't need a pawn of the swamp as our representative in D.C. We need a real conservative fighter, and I'm the only proven conservative fighter on this stage.